I'm just going to take a deep breath. Oh, and wait for people to come or not. That's fine. Been that kind of a weekend. I hope everyone's doing well. See, two watching, and the lag is really bad. It's like 10 seconds, someone said, I think, at one point in time. So we'll wait and see. I'll have to guess who's waiting. Ah, Miriam, hello. How are you? I know it's late for you, but thanks for coming in and saying hey. I really enjoyed your stream. You are making some really outrageous stuff. I love the 3D. Hi, Leslie. Good afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. Miriam's doing some really neat stuff. She's building, I'm not sure. Hi, Pam. She's saying it's either a game or something else. It's pretty fascinating. She's on at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Carol and I used to be in that time slot. You're in Texas, so still afternoon. Yeah, I'm sure you're hotter than hell down there. It's 93 here, so it's got to be probably over 100 where you're at, I'm sure. Yeah, my sister, board game. Okay, you haven't decided yet. Well, you've got rooms, right? So I think you're maybe building rooms, and we might have like a clue type of thing going on. Hi, Epic. How are you? I'm sure you're hot. Everybody's hot, 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 hot. It's 93 here. And I didn't check to see what it feels like because it feels like 78 in my house. Thank God for air conditioning. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you. People actually lived here in Florida without air conditioning. It's kind of mind boggling. It's midnight where you are. Yep, about to go to bed. But I'm glad you came in and said hey. Yeah, and humid. Yeah, can't forget the humidity. Yeah. And even after we have a thunderstorm, it doesn't really reduce the humidity at all. It just is, it's still just as humid, and it might go down a degree or two, but it is July. I have to remember, I have to keep on telling myself it is July and it's Florida, and it's going to be like this probably until, I don't know, September. I hate to say that, until September. Isn't that awful? Hi, Janet. Good to see you. So glad you're here. The weather might break mid-October, if we're lucky. So, well, I see there's about 9 of us in here, and I've picked out a reading, of course, and it's the beginning of a series of stories that he's going to tell. So I'm going to read the intro, and I'm going to read the first story because I think I think for me at least, I've been able to relate to everything I've read by him. It just seems that he is able to hit a note somewhere in me along over the years that I've been reading his stuff. And of course, this is the second time through for me. So this is called, and I think it's called, the beginning of this is, so July is winter in my mind, now 35 degrees. I cannot understand, I'm in the north, yeah, and it's hot, right? Yeah, I guess that is a little disconcerting for sure. So the intro, it's called The Next 6 Stories. So I'm going to read this, and then I'll read the first story of 6, and this is what he's going to talk about. So sit back and listen. The next 6 stories belong in a section by themselves. They are about a neighbor, the guy next door. When I think of all the places I've lived, what I remember most about why I liked living there was not the house itself, it was the neighbors, the great ones. Most of us have had a good neighbor in our lives, or else we are that person to someone else, or else we are that person of someone else. We watch each other and, for good or ill, learn from one another. The people next door play a substantial role in our lives, yet we seldom choose them. I once went house hunting with a friend who is a Native American. She was interested in the usual aspects of real estate, the location, the condition of the house, the price, and so on. But her two priorities were the neighbors and the trees. She looked carefully for a house with big, beautiful trees in the yard. And before she got serious about buying, she went to meet and get acquainted with the neighbors. She said a house could be remodeled, even torn down and rebuilt, but fine trees take a long time, and good neighbors make a huge difference in the quality of life. I agree. As you will see in the stories that follow, I had the good fortune of having a great neighbor for the purpose of a good story. I've exaggerated a little, but not much. The facts are true. The guy next door was for real. The guy next door. For several years, I lived on a steep hillside in a decrepit summer cottage that had what a real estate agent called charm, which meant it was a shack with a view. In keeping with the spirit of the house, I let the yard go natural, letting what wanted to be there and take care of itself without any help from me. I remember announcing from the front porch to all living things in the yard, "You're all on your own. Good luck." Up the hill above me lived Mr. Washington in a sleek ranch style shingle dwelling with a yard kept like a combination golf course and arboretum. It was his pride and joy. An older man, insurance agent, and a mighty cooking champion when it came to barbecue ribs and brisket. Mr. Washington was also black, and I'm not. I'm more putty colored, actually. It was the late 60s, and I was an agitated activist in civil rights, peace, and being obsessively liberal about anything you cared to mention. Mr. Washington was, Mr. Washington was into, I'll use his exact words. Fulgram, you are a downwardly mobile honky, and I am an upwardly mobile, the N word. And don't you forget it. And then he laughed and laughed. He looked down on me in more ways than one. I looked up to him in more ways than one. An odd twist of sociology. It made me nervous when he used the N word. I didn't mind honky. It had a benevolent charm when he said it. But the other word, that's what he called himself, and he always laughed when he said it. Mr. Washington looked down from his porch onto my ratty residence with amused and tolerant contempt. He said he put up with me because I could cook better chili than he could, and I had the best collection of power tools in the neighborhood. Sometimes we played poker, and we both shared a fondness for fine cigars and the fact of wives who did not. We walked in the same marches of the times, the ones about racial justice and peace. We liked the same music, jazz, once spending most of an evening comparing the solos of John Coltrane and Johnny Hodges. Always there was his laughter. No matter how grim or serious the world might get, he saw the comic strip we were all in. He had the best laugh I ever heard. In an uncommon way, we provided a reference point for one another as we sorted out our daily lives, as you will see. He's dead now. I really miss him. I think about him when I cook barbecue, using his recipe for sauce. Mine's not as good as his. The secret ingredient was his laughter while he cooked. Oh, wow. Neighbors, neighbors. Hi, Gail. Hi, Dawn. Good to see you. Hi, Barbara. We've all had neighbors, right? Uh, Good ones, and I don't know. I don't think I can honestly say I've never had a bad neighbor. Um, when I lived on Staten Island, I had neighbors on either side of me who never once said hello to me. Uh, Never. Uh, it's like I didn't exist, and I don't know whether that was kind of the New York thing. I know when you're in Manhattan in New York City, people walk down the road with like blinders on. You don't make eye contact with anybody in New York City. And Staten Island technically is part of New York City. Gail said, "Oh, I've had a couple of bad ones, but mostly okay neighbors." Yeah, yeah, for the most part, I've had good neighbors, mostly good or indifferent. Staten Island is part of New York City. New York City is made up of 5 boroughs. Miriam, there's Manhattan Island, Staten Island, Queens, Bronx, and Brooklyn. And all 5 of those boroughs make up New York City. And Staten Island, as people who live on Staten Island fondly refer to them as the armpit of New York City. Yeah, it's a bridge away, it's just over the river. And so it's very close. Let's see if it is, I was there before 9/11. Yeah. Oh, on Staten Island? Okay. Or New York City. Okay. That's funny. He has told me that before, no eye contact. Yeah. And it's not true. I mean, that's New York City behavior. I grew up on Long Island, and we had a great neighborhood, lots of kids, played, all summer long, parents, block parties. It was a great neighborhood. It's like, I really, I enjoyed that. Was probably the best neighborhood. And then I lived in upstate New York, in southwestern New York, and a very, very, that's where he's from, is Long Island, in a very small town, a village really, called Maple Springs, where there were about 50 people that lived year round. And in the summertime, the population quadrupled, and they were summer folks who had cottages on the lake, and they would just be there for the summer, board up their cottages, and go back to Ohio or Pennsylvania, and never really had much to do with them, because they were not the tourists, but because those cottages had been in families for generations and generations. And then where I am now, I'm not a very friendly person. I know you think that may be funny, but I don't find myself very outgoing. I have a roommate, because I'm in a duplex, and so we refer to one another as roofmates because we share a roof. And then and I know the next people down. I know pretty much everyone on this kind of street that I live on, because we do have block parties. We will have block parties or driveway parties. And so I've gotten to meet everybody, but I'm really bad with names. And I've lived in this house for 7 years, but I've lived in this community for 23, and I really should know. Thank you. Thumbs up would be great. Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. So I have started working on Rosemary Morris's July Kaboodle kit. And I once again bit off more than I can chew. Not the kit itself, but I always like to do, I've got stuff, she sends you an enormous amount of stuff. And then you kind of have to figure out what you want to do with the stuff. Now, Rosemary goes through and builds her Kaboodle kit live during her live streams that are on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 8 Eastern. And she'll walk you through. Let's see, you've lived in the house for over 35 years. And you've had the same neighbors for 35 years? Or have they been transient? I mean, in and out. I had my most favorite neighbors lived next door to me. Their last name was Hutterfer. And then they moved. And I was heartbroken that they moved. And then they moved back. And they bought the house behind me. And I ended up dating the son all through high school. So that was fun. That's the Weather Channel telling me that lightning probably has been spotted 13 miles from here or something like that. Yeah, and some people are really good with names, and I think if you make a conscious decision that you're going to remember somebody's name, but for me, I have to work at it. I have to associate that name with something else. You've moved about 13 times. How many times is? Oh, wow. She's lived in more than 25 different houses. That's amazing. It sounds like military. Because I live in a military retire. We have talked about this. I live in a military community that was developed by I think, two generals. Yeah, in order to remember a name, I have to associate it with something or someone. It's work. And I don't know whether people that are really good at names don't have some sort of little trick that they use, or they're just naturally good at names. I mark it up to, and this is a horrible thing to say, that I don't really give a damn. And that's horrible. But for the, I don't care enough to remember somebody's name. So Barbara's been in her house for 24 years. Okay. No, only artist father in Argentina. Interesting. Now, I know you speak many, many languages, Miriam. I know she speaks at least 3 or 4, maybe 5. I don't know. She speaks a lot of languages. So you are so stable. I don't know. Maybe I am. I put on a good front. I think as you get older, you mellow. I mean, you truly mellow out. Less and less things bother me, because you learn to understand that there's so many things you have no control over, and you may not like them, but life goes on, and you either adjust or really be miserable. Okay, your partner thinks this. Maybe it is a New York thing. Do you know where on Long Island, if you don't mind sharing? Because Long Island's 180 miles long. That's why it's called Long Island. In some words, there's sentences, and others only 3. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And Leslie's been here for 30 years. Several neighbors have come and gone. Long timers are good about having street gatherings, and we also stitch together by hurricanes or winter storms. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's very cool. Let's see, there's stupid hearts in the way. Ridge, Long Island. I'm not familiar. I mean, obviously, Long Island's got a lot of. I grew up in Wantor, which is where Jones Beach is on Long Island. So he probably knows Jones Beach, and that's where I grew up, the Jones Beach area. And then my parents moved further out on the island. And Joyce, I think she's from, right, Joyce? Joyce is still here, right? Joyce came in. She's another Long Island girl. She's from Babylon, and I work for the Bank of Babylon, affectionately known as Bob. And I don't think it's been absorbed by probably Chase or Bank of America after all these years. So anyway, I started working on my Kaboodle kit. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it would be hard not to know Jones Beach or Jones's Beach. We spent the summer there. We'd take the bus and go and get our stamped so we could go to the pool and get a locker and go to the pool and go to the ocean and come back and go to the pool and walk on the boardwalk and have saltwater taffy and get an ice cream cone. We spent the whole day there, and then take the bus and then get on our bikes and go back to our houses, my friend Nancy and I. But let's see, Jones Beach. Oh, Brookhaven. Okay. All right. Yeah. Brookhaven. There's a big lab out in Brookhaven. That's a little bit further out on the island. Yeah. When I was in New York, I wanted to take ferry as my parents. Yes. Back in the day, it was only a quarter. I have no idea what it costs now. It's got to cost a lot. Yeah, we used to take the ferry. But then they built the bridge, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, so you didn't have to take the ferry. But before the bridge went up, people had to take the ferry back and forth. If you worked in Manhattan, the only way you could get to Manhattan was by taking the ferry. But once they, built the bridge, that kind of changed the whole complexity, and the whole makeup of Staten Island changed. Staten Island at one point it was like the vegetable garden of New York City back in the day. It was all farms. There was like 400 farms on Staten Island, dairy farms, vegetable, farms, and they basically provided New York City with fresh produce and fresh dairy. And then when they built the bridge, people said, well, let's get out of here. And they moved out of Brooklyn, mostly Brooklyn and Queens, and just came across and settled on Staten Island. And all of a sudden, there was no planning. And I have to wonder what someone like Disney would have done if he could have planned Staten Island. There was no planning at all. It was just a free for all. And little pieces of property became people's homes. They had left an apartment in Brooklyn, and now they had a postage stamp front lawn and a postage stamp backyard. And it was just crazy. And they just came and came and came. And now it's just so congested. And let's see, took a random bus, get down 15 minutes. Okay. See what to stand on. Okay. All righty. Okay. Yeah, I guess maybe that sounds about right. Maybe every 30 minutes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure the ferry's still going strong, but the bridge, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, changed the whole scenery of Staten Island. That's for sure. And so then from there we went to Pennsylvania. I've lived in all of the types of neighborhoods. I grew up in suburbia, lived in Staten Island, which is really suburbia, but you could argue, well, it was part of New York City. Then I lived in suburbia again. Then I lived on a farm. I mean, a real farm outside of Gettysburg in Adams County. And then we moved to upstate New York, where we lived in a small town. Small town dynamics are totally, completely different than any other dynamic. Totally different than suburbia. Just because of the smallness. We didn't even have postal delivery. We had to go to the post office to pick up our mail, where the post mistress knew all and told all. If you wanted to know what was going on, you just went to the post office because she knew everything. I was supposed to go to work in the World's Fair in 1964. Wow. Yeah, we went to the World's Fair a lot. We would just take the train and go. And I think I've told many of you before, I actually saw the Beatles live in concert at Forest Hill Stadium, and that's in Queens. Yeah, 64. I was a freshman. I graduated in 67. Yeah. It was small, very small. And that's where my boys met up this past week. They saw one another for the first time in about 9 years. And I was very excited about them seeing one another. It's a large family, right? Yeah. Well, all those cottages, they literally, winterize them, meaning they drain the water out of all the pipes. They put some antifreeze in, and they go back to mostly, out the Pittsburgh area and the Ohio area. And then they arrive, usually after Memorial Weekend, they start coming in. But after Labor Day, it's like someone, rolled up the sidewalks. Well, we had no sidewalks, but anyway, it kind of drastically changed. It went back to its quaint little. Yeah, I was very upset, Gil, because they were screaming, and I'm not a screamer, never will be. And as excited as I was to see them in concert, couldn't hear a word they were singing because it was sheer bedlam. People were just screaming their lungs out. And their opening act were the Righteous Brothers. I'd never heard of the Righteous Brothers, but they were the opening act. So, yeah, 50 people could be of, yeah, easily with cousins and every, yeah, it could. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So what I decided to do, I like to go online and I typically go to Victoria, VECTORIA, Victoria Designs, where they have all sorts of journals and, they want you to buy, you can buy their digi downloads and their kits to build everything. But I look for just the structure, the substrate. Oh, okay. You got to see the Righteous Brothers. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we got to go to a lot of concerts. And I guess last week I was talking about that. My friend Nancy and we met the first day of kindergarten, so we've known each other obviously since we were 5. We would get on the train and go into New York City and buy standing room only tickets, and you could buy a standing room only ticket for any show on Broadway for $2, and then you would stand in the back of the theater, and then at intermission you could take any seat because they figured if people hadn't shown up by intermission they weren't coming. So that's what we did, and we would see play after play. That's what we did it on the weekends a lot of times. Yeah, they have some really neat stuff, and I've made a lot of their journals and used them for something else. So that's what I started to do. And I haven't, and I'm so glad I did what I did because I would have never. And I don't have chipboard, but I save the back of like a watercolor panel. If you have a like a watercolor pad or those type of things, I always save those, and I can usually cut them down and use them for something like this. So this is going to be where I'm going to put the Kaboodle kit. Oh, and the theme of the Kaboodle kit is Latin artisans. So that's where the emphasis is, and I'll show you, a lot of the stuff that Rosemary sent, and then I've gone and found other stuff. So it's going to be hard to see because it's all black. And let's see, I don't know whether I can, and what that's going to do. And I screwed up. I can't tell you how many times I screwed up. And yes, I did put something in upside down and backwards, and I was able to pull it out. And everything's kind of askew, a little crooked. And this opens like so. And there's a pocket here. And, Rosemary does a lot of pockets and flippy floppy stuffs. And the woman that I'm following, I have to stop it. I have to stop the video and slow it down and rewind. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. Yes, I know. You're glad to hear it. Upside down. Yes. And I'll blame it on the instructor because she turned this whole thing upside down in order to put this one page on. And I turned it upside down, but I ended up putting it on the wrong page because I wasn't paying attention. Duh. So fortunately, I was able to tear it off because the double-sided tape that I'm using is not that great. Hi, Dar. Good to see you. So there's a pocket here and a flippy flop. And of course, I've got all sorts of pictures that are going to go on here and stuff. And then I love magnets, and she uses lots of magnets, but they look really ugly. So this all will be covered up, but I've got magnets. And I like the way she does her magnets. And there's a magnet here. But this will be covered up with stuff, so you won't see the uglies here. And that's a magnet. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention. This is a pocket, and the magnet tape got in the way, and that's not really sticking that well. But she uses a little bit bigger magnet than I'm using and flatter. But these were the only magnets I had. But again, whoops, this will all be covered up with pictures and such. And let's see. And then it's kind of like my Beatles. I did, the Beatles journal, and I followed one of the substrates. I followed one of the designs from Victoria. So I love the sound. Click, click, click. And then this opens, and there's going to be a big something that goes in here. And I'm going to have to, I'll pretty this up. This is where I tore this off, because it was down here and needed to be up here, and I tore it off and put it up here. And I will cover this with washi tape or pictures. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that's going to go on over here, which I didn't get to. So I'm just going to start going through the stuff that I have from Rosemary and doing some decorating. And so, I mean, this is obviously, and this separated when I glued these down. So obviously something has to go over this. This is all sticky, but it makes a nice, just go to their website if you really want to try something a little different, because they have, she's got tons and tons of, I thought of Colleen. I swore Colleen was in here. Colleen, she's got a thing where she's got 3 or 4 journals that may be like, one is for butterflies and one is for farm, but it's like what you're doing. Like they had 4 distinct journals, and there was also a beautiful box, like a case, that you could slip these journals in with drawers, and it would be, oh my gosh, it would be phenomenal to build. I love building boxes and things like that. That's always a lot of fun. But okay, so this is some of the stuff, and then I also went online, and again, there's lots of stuff. I made a master board of sorts. So I went online and went to a website that had Latin artists, and I just made, and we were talking about Photoshop the other day somewhere. Hi, Sherry. We were talking Photoshop and various other things that you can use to edit photos. And again, I use something called Google Drawings, which allows me to do something like this. You can copy a picture, take a picture with your phone, copy a picture and put it in Google Drawings, which you can find in Google Drive. And then once you put it in there, you can resize it to any size you want. You can flip it around. If I wanted her to be facing in the opposite, turn, I could flip her around 90 degrees. I could flip her around. I could change the color I could change all of these to sepia, however you pronounce that. Or you could actually change it to make it look like a negative. And those are all the things that you can do in Google Drawing. And I've done that with photographs of my family. I've downloaded, I've taken pictures of the pictures and then put them in Google Drawing, and then manipulated them, resized them. But it's really easy. So I just Googled, Latin artists, and then went through and right-clicked, copied and pasted the pictures into Google Drawings, and then resized them to make a master board. But this is going to go like here, because I think it's very colorful. And then I found this. It was Mexican. The website was Mexican wallpaper. And so I downloaded this. Isn't that pretty? Look at those colors. So I'm going to probably stick that. Oh, that would be a pretty cover, wouldn't it? So I've got some stuff that I have messed around with and I've downloaded. Oh, look at this picture. Oh, isn't this is absolutely adorable. Look at this. I love this type of art. And that was under Mexican wallpaper. I don't know whether I'd want that on a wall as wallpaper, but isn't that adorable? That kind of reminds me of like it's folk art. That's true. Yes, that's very true. Very cool. Yep. Uh, oh, thank you, Janet. Yeah, I have my own. I have my people. Timmy's got his people. I've got my people. And then I actually did. Well, I can't. Where's the? I can't. No, I got it covered. But behind on my iPhone, I have a folk art painting that I did. But I tried to do this in. I started to copy this in Procreate, but I'll see if I can't finish it. But again, I found it, and for this one you can just download it. It's free. Download it, high resolution. Click the print bar. Now these are all printed on my laser printer. I have a color laser printer, and that's what this is printed on. So the colors are pretty like vibrant. And let's see. And this, I needed this orientation. And when I first printed it out, it was landscape. And this is actually printed on my Echo Tank Epson printer. And the colors are not quite as, and this is a different layout completely, a little bit vibrant, but this is on the Epson printer. So I might cut this out and use bits and pieces of this. Did I do something similar? I've done this. Yeah, I've made master boards before, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I've made something like this before. Yes. But I just love this. This is it's just so whimsical. But it's called Mexican wallpaper. And and I didn't type in Mexican wallpaper, but I was looking for Latin art and with the houses. Yes, I did. Oh, Janet, you've got such an incredible memory. I did a painting. I did. And the name of the painting was Newport, and it was out of a folk art book. I copied it out. Yeah, I did. And then I did a 3-dimensional picture of it too, where I sewed, stuff on. And it's the same painting, and it was with fabric. Whoops. I think I showed it to you I think I showed it last week or a couple of weeks ago. But I painted this on it's very busy. But this is painted on a canvas. This is a box canvas, a 12 by 12 box canvas. And I painted actually, I cut them out and sewed them on. And I got the pelican. That was Mary Lou's idea, that I needed a little pelican. So I added a little pelican down here in the corner. But this is the painting. And I have it as a painting. And this was for one of Mary's Friday hops. And I guess maybe it was fabric was the, I don't remember what the prompt was, but I got the rocks and the buttons and the buttons. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got the, and now all this is a cheap, hi Beth, an inexpensive 12 by 12 box canvas. And I've got 5 more of them because I got a pack of 6 and I haven't done anything with the others. But this was a lot of fun. And I cut these out of fabric, but I've also painted that picture. And that's that folk art. It's that kind of that style. That's really cool. That's so much fun to play with. And the other thing I came across is I bought a like a bunch of Kleenex recently, and it's the little square box cubes, and look at the design on this box of Kleenex. Is that not cool? Other than for the Kleenex, but just a little picture here. And look at this. This is the cover of the Kleenex, and you could kind of put that or put a picture behind that and stick this on. Hi, Darla. Good to see you. I know. And I've got a whole case of this, so I have a lot of this. Now this, so I took that apart today. I figured I'm going to use this. This could be, I could actually replace this with some acetate. And that could be a nice oval. Well, that would be kind of pretty. It could be a picture. Yeah, so I'm going to use that somewhere in this. Somewhere. All right, so that's me. That's my stuff. And okay. And we got a file folder and I did some stitching on it. And so that'll be, I've got some pictures to put in here. Yeah, isn't that a nice window pocket? Yeah, that's what I thought. And I did some stitching. Oh, I'm getting so close. I am a button click away from getting a new sewing machine. And some of the folks in here know my saga with my sewing machine. I saw there was an article that came out in our monthly publication called The Colony Voice, and there's somebody in there that is looking for a sewing machine for their granddaughter who wants to learn how to sew, and she wants it to be donated. And I'm thinking, like, I think that's kind of the hint, because that's what my sewing machine is. It's a sewing machine for people who are learning how to sew on. It's so basic. And I might be ready to graduate. I know Becky and Deb bought a Singer sewing machine not too long ago. They both bought the same sewing machine, and they're overall very happy with it. I guess they do yeah. Well, we have a sewing shop here, but they have used sewing machines, but they're still really expensive because all I'm really doing is sewing paper and some clothing. If you saw my doll, my rag doll, I sewed a pair of jean shorts for my rag doll, thanks to Becky's and Deb's guidance and holding my hand. And I made a t-shirt and I made a baseball cap with this little sewing machine. And it's little. What I like about it is that I can pick it up. If I got a real sewing machine, I'd have to rearrange everything on my work area. Because this one is so small, I can literally pick it up with one hand. And it does, I'm sure many of you have seen it before, and it does look like a toy. And this is it. And I can lift it. It has 12 stitches. And this is it. has a little breakaway here. I actually hemmed a pair of pants, and I got it on Amazon, of course, and it was a whopping, at the time, it was a whopping $59. And it has no name, literally no name. And it'll run on batteries. I have the original Kenmore. Oh, wow, when you were 19. Oh, wow. Oh, it's perfect for me. And I did buy a brother sewing machine, and Deb Farrell helped me get it, threaded up and everything. And I said to her, I said, I just don't like it. And that one of the wonderful things about shopping on Amazon is how easy it is to take stuff back. And I packed it up and took it back. But, and this is, I can literally lift this with one hand. So anyway, that's my little baby. But I could see a grandmother teaching a granddaughter how to sew. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? And the interesting thing about this, as inexpensive as this is, it has, well, not in there. It has metal bobbins, steel bobbins, not plastic, which I think is rather interesting. And I found out the hard way. I found out from Eileen Lyons, and she basically, I never knew there was much difference in thread. I figured thread was thread, and she said, "Oh, no." And she told me the name of a couple of really good threads, and I bought some really good thread. What a difference, because the thread was always breaking on me, and I figured it was because of the cheap sewing machine. Well, it was the cheap thread I was using, and I put some good thread in it, and it's made a big difference. And this is a little lizard stamp from the Oaxaca kit, and so I made some stamps. And okay, so this was stuff that was in the kit. So we get a lot of big printouts, and just a very mishmash of stuff. And everyone, it's all different. No two kits are exactly the same. I mean, there's some things that are the same, like the manila folder and things like that, but it's just different stuff. And we get some magazine things, which I thought would make some really neat envelopes. So I got a couple of pieces out of a magazine. I got some tags to work with. Now you should see what Rosemary makes. It's just phenomenal. She's just crazy stuff that she makes. What she did with this, she cut this girl out like so, and then mounted her, and then took the calla lilies from this and put it. She's just amazing. Let's see. And then there's always all of these little goodies. Got some really cute material. Got the alpaca or llama. Not lima, llama. Llama dama. So that's in the kit. And I got a little chipboard. And look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? It's got the little mirrors. Isn't that cool? That'll be fun to play with. And another llama. You got the sugar skull. Isn't that, they call that a sugar skull? Cinco de Mayo. And Frida. You got to have some Frida. Mexican style napkin colors. You got these Mexican colors, right? Just so pretty. So this is fabric. Let's see. Be at your life. At least not the first one. Oh, that's great. Take advantage of it. Yeah. And then there was this piece of fabric, which I thought, and on this one, you had a choice. She said 3 different types of fabric, and I chose this. I just think this is so pretty. And I'm not into, just the colors are just amazing. So that was in the kit. And then you get all of these little, there's some charms in here and doodads. So I'll probably make, those will go on a chain of some sort. Beads. Maybe that'll be a dangly thing. And then, not done yet. And then there were a whole bunch of images, a whole bunch. And I went through my stamp book and I pulled out a bunch of stamps that, Latin, Uruguay, and I went through a whole bunch of stamps. And I found one Mexican stamp from Mexico. Here's a Mexican airmail stamp. So I've got some stamps I will throw in there. Nicaragua, Colombia, Costa Rica. And then there were all these, and I've cut them out. I've already cut them out. And I probably mount those on cardstock. And then I stitched around a whole bunch of these. My stitching is a little wobbly, to say the least. I did some zigzag stitches just to kind of oomph it up a little bit. It's amazing what a little bit of stitching will do to something. So I did a lot of stitching. So that is all gonna, you look at this journal or this book and there's gonna be all sorts of places to stick stuff. So I got all of that. And then there's a whole bunch of papers, not done yet. I mean, she sends you enough stuff that you could do. I know. She usually, this is a typical caboodle. That's what the expression, the whole kit and caboodle. This is the caboodle of the kit. And so this is all color dyed paper. This is, if maybe some of you are familiar, there's an artist who does a lot of dyeing, Amy. So these are all Amy papers that Rosemary has purchased and then is included. But isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. So you get all of this, and I've cut this up already. I was going to make a gusset. And this one's mine. It's mine. I'm going to use it. And then we got these big printouts. The tiles are so pretty. And then here's a master board that Rosemary probably made. She put her stuff together. And this came with this. And it came with this. And it came with this. And then this is really, look at this. And I don't remember whether she printed these on her show. But you get this and this and this. Look at this. Lots of stuff. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Janet. And that's the end. So you got all the stuff. And then Rosemary goes through her stuff, and starts putting it together. She made a whole series of flippy floppy things that you can stick in the journal. As usual, have no plans there. People, some proponent to work. I teach them to do a simple binding. Okay, all righty. So you're, I thought, yeah. So you're teaching. That's what I thought, Miriam. Yeah, I made a book. I started it last week. And it look how thick it is. It's eight. What did we say? Eight signatures of 5 sheets, 5 pages each. And they're sewn together with kind of a bastardized Coptic stitch. You volunteer. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you. And I just put some surgical tape on the binding, but it's nice because I'm just going to use it for sketching or whatever, but it's nice because it opens up and it lays flat. That's what I like about it. So And I'll read this to you because it's worth hearing. And I have no idea where I got it. This contents of this journal are intended for an audience of one, me. I plan to use this book as a place where I can make mistakes. I can decide what works and what doesn't. I can experiment. I can have fun. I can copy someone else's technique for the purpose of learning. I'm going to use this space as a sounding board to test things and not judge myself harshly when I don't meet up to my own preconceived standards. If what I make is ugly, that's okay. If I hate it, that's fine. It's okay because I'm learning and I know that the end result isn't as important as the process itself. And that's so true. It's the process, not the end results. I keep telling myself that. That's why I love watching Janet's process videos. Anything that's processed, yeah, I just love watching them. This journal is just for me, so I am not going to hold myself back. So I figured this was a good place for this in the front of this. And I painted, this was on the cover of a pad of mixed media paper. So, hi, Safia. I know it's late. Oh, thank you, Janet. That's Amy. That's for the paper dye. Yep. And I know she must have an Etsy shop. They are adults, all ages from 25. Okay. How often do you meet with these people? Oh wow, 25 to 70. And you just do arts and crafts, or you're doing bookbinding? It sounds that's pretty serious stuff. So that's what I made this week. All right. Let's see if we can't make some order of this. I know, yeah. And the fish is made up of fish. I don't know. Can you see that in the? Yeah, you can. It's all little fishies inside the big fish. And that was on the cover of the mixed media paper. And I did some more Pantone cards too. Dark Wood Sanctuary. Thank you. Thank you, Janice Glines. And hi. Yep. Try to challenge them twice a month. So you must go to some sort of, hi, Dana. You must go to some sort of center. And do you have to provide, or are there craft supplies there for you to use, or do you have to? So are you winging it? I think Miriam's winging it. Like most of us do. We wing it a lot. So, all right. I'm going to make an envelope. And then I'm going to make another envelope. Let me move some of this stuff. And see, a lot of this material I can use to hide some of my boo-boos on the main journal. Okay, I can throw this over here. I have a little TV table right over here to my right. It's either that or the floor. Oh, I know what I can do. I can do this and chat, because I had planned on doing this anyway. So I like to have things where I can read and the chat and hang out and not do anything that's too demanding. Where is it? There it is. All right. Yes, they have the material. Okay. What? I can think in a whole activity in seconds. Well, I'm never prepared. I don't feel ever. And now I have the Monty Python in my head going, here, fishy. Yes. Was that called Wanda Fish? That wasn't the whole title, was it, Safia? But Wanda Fish. I remember that movie. Didn't they kill the fish? Didn't the fish, the water, they drained the water out of the tank, or and it's Wanda Fish, but that wasn't the name of it. I know it was it just Wanda Fish? I don't remember now. It's a social center. Oh, near your house. That's good. A fish called Wanda. Thank you. I knew it had Wanda and fish in the title. A fish called Wanda. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Yeah. That was that the Monty, oh, was that not the Monty Python crew? Cleese and all of those dudes? Oh, it had some of that's what I thought. It had some of the Monty Python guys in it. Yeah. That some of that stuff was brilliant. The British comedy, some of that. See, this guy is going in here, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Oh, I almost ran out of double-sided fish slap dance. Oh my gosh. I'm almost out of double-sided tape. So I have to order. I just got done putting in an order to Amazon, and now I have to put another order in. Oh, well. All right, this guy's going in here, and I can decorate this whole thing with pictures. Because I'm a little afraid to start putting things in the black thing, because I think, hi, Jamie. There she is. The poet laureate herself. Texas style. I've talked about doing on a couple of occasions, I've talked about doing no, the ones on the top that I just showed you, those are all from Rosemary's Kaboodle kit for July. Oh, I've done my Temu, Jamie. I went a couple of times, and I've been so good. I haven't been back because I ended up buying more stickers than I'll ever need. All of this stuff on the top, only this stuff on the bottom, and yeah, all that's from Rosemary. Yeah, this is the July Kaboodle, and the theme is Latin artisans. So we got some Frida. I think Frida's one of those, you either like her or you don't. I happen to like a Frida. And technically, if in this artisan group, Latin artisan group, Salvador Dali would be in this group. Let's see. You all fighting it? It's tempting. And I tell you, a lot of people, there's a lot of controversy because they're copying stuff. But the Chinese have been copying stuff. That's always been their MO, copying stuff. Okay, I'm glad you're going to be sensible. All right, have a good week. See you later. And people were looking for a parent company. Oh, it's okay. You can hate her. I think that there's those type of emotions. You either like her or you don't. And a lot of people like her, but they, her husband, they don't like. Diego Riviera. What was I going to say? Oh, I did some research, and apparently Temu is the company. There isn't like a parent company, and their prices are depending on what you order. I think you're safe with art stuff. And I had to laugh when I read this article. They said, and there's been 33 complaints, and I'm thinking, that's all? Only 33 complaints when you consider the volume of business that they do? Wow, it is so profound. Okay. We won't talk about it then. See, he's going to go there. But I kind of, but I can cut that, and that can be another image. All right, that's what I'll do. I'll stick him here. Okay, he'll go here, and I'm going to, let's see, we'll take this like so, and fold him like so. Yeah, they're like the new Amazon. Yeah. And, I'm sure they're giving Amazon a run for their money. I mean, their prices are, again, ridiculously low. But again, it depends on what you're buying. I haven't bought, I don't think I would ever buy any clothing from them. Yeah, that's a good point. I would never buy any clothing or mechanical thing, anything. I mean, I've bought basically about $100. I've been there twice. In total, I've spent about $100 on stickers. And I bought one of those things for your paintbrushes, one of these thingies with dirty water. I just always wanted one, and I got that for like $1.98, and lots of stickers. And I got this. And I have a whole bunch of these, but I love the fact that this has got 3 corner punches in one little device. And no, they're, and Aunt Becca's another holdout. Yeah, that's true. Politics aside. That's all I bought. Clothing from Timo. Sent most of it back. Okay. But Gail said you had no issue with sending stuff back. And that's a big part of, I mean, if you can send stuff back without too much of a hassle, that means a lot. Because I know Amazon makes it so easy to return stuff. I have a camera that I need to return, and it's all packaged up and it's in the car. Barbara's never ordered. Look at all. Okay, there's a whole bunch of you. Barbara's never ordered. Becky's never ordered. Jamie's hanging on, trying not to order. I have another email address that I used for, I cut that too short, that I used for Temu. And I have the app. Happy Palette, happy Monday. Yep. I don't think. No, I don't think so. And you look at, the model, the business model, based on what Becky, let's see, back maybe better. Oh, okay. Are you in live chat? I'm sure you are. Hi, Stacy. I don't think I said hi to you. Thanks for being here. Let's see. I don't appreciate the team who insists that you download their app to your phone. Yeah. I did. It's on my phone. And I can delete it anytime I want, and then I wouldn't hear from it at all. No. Well, it's a Chinese company, and TikTok's a Chinese company, and what else? Uh, I want the bird. Montezuma. I only know Montezuma as revenge. Montezuma's revenge, and everyone knows what that is. Let's see, coming straight out of China feels like selling out of me. Yeah. Now, apparently, and I say apparently because I don't know. From what I understand, that the stuff that we're buying from them is coming directly from those factory. It's not like there's not like a holding place that it directly is coming from the factory, and that's why you're getting it so fast. Because, yeah, that's TikTok is. I just downloaded TikTok. But before I did that, I saw some videos like that I really like. But when you download, you can pick what you like. And I checked off, I only wanted to see like DIY stuff, art stuff, animal stuff, funny stuff, comedy stuff. And that's all I've seen. I haven't seen anything other than what I said I was interested in seeing. So they've kind of abided by my choices. So I want to make a reel so bad. And I know that Becky has reels, right? Of what you put, Becky, what you have on, is that a reel or is that a short? I don't know the difference. Reel is short is YouTube, right? Don't think I'll get Meta's new threads either. Is that the thing that that he and Elon are fighting over? That they're gonna take it out to the parking lot or some asinine stupid thing? Is it? I watch shorts and reels. I do too. Too much. All of a sudden, an hour's gone by, and I just keep on flinging through. Reel is a Facebook thing. Okay. So when you posted the pictures of your beautiful bookcase and the kitties and all of that, those were all reels, correct? I think. Oh, I heard somewhere, speaking of all of that stuff, I heard somewhere that YouTube has now said that you only need to have 500 subscribers to monetize, right? And 4,000 watch hours. Same as some I bought from Known Designs, but quality is not. No, I would imagine the quality was not that good. It would be thin and bends. Yeah, I've gotten a couple of really nice stencils. Hi, Riri. Okay, Riri's pure. No FB, TT, or Twitter for her. Good for you. Good for you. So I went to the YouTube studios, right, to find out whether that was true. And it still said you needed to have 1,000 subscribers. But then I found another part where it said you only need 500. So because it's interesting, I have 626 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours. So I don't really care whether I'm monetized or not. I'm just doing this for fun, right? We're supposed to have fun. It changes in the past month. Yeah. They call reels. They are called Reels on Instagram. Okay, all right. Now, is Instagram owned by Facebook too? Is that their thing, or is that somebody else's thing? Oh, that's okay. Gotcha. And that's my problem. I don't have any videos at all. None. And that's what I've got to do. I've tried editing. Oh my God, the editing thing just is. Oh, okay, Stacy. Thank you. 500 subs, you don't get ad revenue, just super chats. Got you. Well, thank you. That's good to know. That makes sense. I mean, I don't know what difference it would make. I mean, when you think about all of the content that all of the creators, all the stuff that people create for them for free, they really have a good deal. Oh, is that right? You think too. Yeah. Well, look at all the free content that we all provide. Everybody that streams, it's, I mean, I know we have the paid capability to stream for free. I get that. But if it weren't for people creating content, what would they have? Hi. Oh, that's Messy Palette. I couldn't. Okay, Janet said hi to you earlier, and I didn't catch it. So hi. Yes, hi, Messy. Okay. I tried editing once, and I gave up. I just totally gave up. Hours later, and what I would do is I would just do it like this, and I would put it on. I would just do a live stream, but I would have it on private and then upload it and call it a day and not do any editing. And who's going to know the difference, right? I like that bird. So let's see. Can I get that bird? Let's see. I lost my pencil. Oh, that's fine. Getting granddaughter's hair braided for school. How old is your granddaughter? She'll be so purry. I used to be a news film editor. So you like editing, okay? All righty. Well, it's just, I guess for me, it's something that I would have to make my mind up. Oh, 6. What a great age. Just say to myself, you're going to teach yourself this, and just go at it. I mean, I used to do some editing, and I can't remember the program that we used. It was a program I used at school, and they paid for it, but I can't remember the name of it. I used to make videos before anybody thought of doing videos for my students. I have some, and those I've been dinged on those. I've been actually dinged on those by YouTube, where they said that because I had used a 30-second video from a scene from HBO's John Adams series. I cut out a clip of a conversation that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson have, and they dinged me. They said it wasn't going to cost me any money, but their algorithm picked up. And then I got dinged for I used the clip out of not Hill Street Blues. NYPD Blue? No. The cop show with Jamie Smites. There's a conversation with Sipowicz and the young detective, and Sipowicz is sitting at his desk, and he says to him, you know, those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. So I took that clip and I had it on. I had that in one of my YouTube videos that only my students saw. It wasn't like public. And it was just a YouTube video that I made for teaching purposes. I didn't even know I had a YouTube channel. One of my students told me I did. He said that he'd watched my latest YouTube on the causes of the Civil War or something like that. And I said, how did you see that? He said, well, you have a YouTube channel. And I said, I do? Yeah. I didn't know. Then I went to look at it, and the number of views I had were basically the number of students I had at the time. Yeah, it must have just been like I guess the algorithm picked it up. I have no idea. I was surprised too. So I got dinged for those two things, and those were videos that were, I guess they must have been public so my students could see them. I guess, I don't know. All right, Jamie. It's interesting because I was just looking to see, and sure enough. I mean, I know everyone's under the impression that you can play music. Yeah, it must have been public because my students could have listened to it, right? They could have watched it if I'd given them a link. I can't remember how I pushed out those videos to my students. I can't remember now. It's way too long ago. Yeah, I'd sit in my chair. I'd have my Boston Red Sox baseball cap on, and I would make a video, and I would review for a test. Yeah, okay, you can't play copyrighted music either. So that's a misnomer when they say that you can play like 29 seconds of a song. You can't do that. You can't play any part of a song, can you? I don't think. Because people always said, oh, well, you can play a couple of seconds, but I think you can't, you're not allowed to play any of it. Can't play copyrighted music either. But they have a whole bunch of music. Classroom 2.0, I found you. No. You're kidding me, right? Classroom 2.0. 15 seconds. Okay, so Kathy says 15 seconds is the limit. That's weird. I don't know. Well, kind of boogered that up. I can't really use that unless I do this. Let's see, do that. Yeah, their music. Hi, Sherry. Their music library, and some of the YouTube people like Nick. There's a couple of guys that you can, he's always on Saturday and with tips and things on how to, improve your presence and all of that on YouTube. They have a lot of music, that's part of that's available, and it gets better and better and better. My editing experience, yes, ended in tears. Well, that's not good. That takes the fun out of it, right? Is there Barbara Clark, is there one editing program over another, or when you go to edit, do you pick a program to do the editing, or is it built in? I have no idea. I can't even remember what I tried to do. All right, Gail, have a good night. I'll see you around the internets, the webs, I'm sure. Enjoy your walk tomorrow morning. The weather's going to be good. Take advantage. I have no memory space already need on computer. Oh, okay. So there are programs that you download. Yeah. My computer's full. Oh, Ben buys a music. Yeah, because you have great music. So I'm assuming Ben does iMovie. Okay, I've used iMovie. Okay, I know iMovie. I actually, they have the iMovie where you can do a Ken Burns. I think they even call it a Ken Burns, where it fades in and out. It's the style that he used for his documentary, and you can actually make a fictitious movie trailer, like a trailer for a movie on iMovie. And I used to do that. I would do a trailer for the next unit that we were doing in history. I would make a movie, I would make a trailer for it using uh, that template from iMovie. Yeah, I've worked so you can use that as to edit other stuff. So you can actually use that to edit like a YouTube video. I didn't know that. I just thought that was just for like, making an iMovie. Because I have the iMovie. I'm familiar with that. No, I thought that what I was going to say, Janet, is that I was going to ask whether Ben does your editing for you, because it's your editing for your process videos and your flip through Fridays and with Eddie and all of that are done so beautifully. They're done. No, they're just such a pleasure to watch. And I guess like anything else, if you know what you're doing, it's not hard. Like Barbara said that, that's something that she's familiar with and has no problem doing. Only sucks on still pics, but I put them first and clips export as movie to iMovie. Yeah, I've used iMovie. I've made a bunch of like fun movies, like cardboard racing, because we were racing with we built this gigantic cardboard ramp down some stairs, and we were racing Matchbox cars and Lego cars down this cardboard ramp, and I called it car/board racing, a thrill a minute. It was pretty funny. And then I use something called Slow Motion, which is a great app to make stop action, which is very tedious. And you take one picture and then you move something a quarter inch and then you take another picture. I got my grandson into doing stop motion. And for $4.99, if you want to get the paid app, for $4.99, it's amazing. You've got all sorts of sound effects that you can add. Okay. Oh no, I just use. Oh, on your phone. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, I was trying to flip my video as it recorded upside down. I watched all the videos, but my screen on YouTube Studio looks different to theirs. Maybe because. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. Well, the stop motion is yeah. I've done the stop motion, and he's done a whole bunch. And with his toys, he's got little soccer guys, and he does and he's got hockey guys. He does a little hockey game, and he moves like the hockey players, like I don't know, a quarter of an inch, and then takes a picture and then rearranges them and it takes an enormous amount of patience. I have some that he made when he was here at Christmas time. I should make reels out of those and post them because they're pretty funny. He's got his little Lego guy driving in my Lego Volkswagen Bug that I built. And then I have my Lego red pickup, the Ford, the ubiquitous red Ford pickup truck. Lego made that into a kit, and I had to have that. I had to build that. And I commented on that. Procreate app is or was $9.99, just one time only payment. It's like the best deal out there. It really is. Procreate is an entire art studio at your fingertips. Hundreds of brushes, every color under the rainbow. It's just a robust, it's an incredible app. And there's lots of free videos out there on, how to create in Procreate. Some of the art it's just incredible. That's, yeah, $9.99. That's what it was when I bought it a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's well worth every cent. When I got my new iPad, I got the pencil. I got the Apple pencil. I bought the Apple pencil. I didn't buy a non-Apple pencil. And it's amazing. You can put your whole hand on the screen of your iPad when you're in Procreate, and it doesn't move anything. Okay, I'm not sure. I've done some vector. Again, they do that. You can do some vector drawing on Google Drawings. I've tried some of that. I don't think so, Barbara. I'll have to go look. Did I pick up your message? No. I'll say no because I don't remember. Well, how long ago did you get your Procreate, Barbara? I got mine several years ago. And I can't remember now who enabled me. I don't think it was Dee Dee, honestly. I think it was somebody else. Vectors and pixels, yeah. I know, yeah, I'm familiar. But the vector drawing stuff, okay, yeah, mine, yeah, me too. And I know you can buy brushes. I mean, people make, create brushes that they sell. Graphic Fairies has, in their paid thing, they actually have Photoshop tutorials. 35? I don't think. I'll have to check that. $35 for Procreate? Wow. Well, we'll have to double check that because that doesn't sound right, Miriam. I mean, if that's the case, shame on them. $12.99. Okay. Whew. That's better. Yeah. Okay, that's better. And it probably has a few more bells and whistles than it had, when I got it. All right, I'm going to glue these down. And this is interesting about all this stuff. Yeah. You check it out. Maybe you were looking at, I run out of, my computer is, oh, okay. There's a young woman that has free lessons. She offers some free lessons on Procreate. I'm trying to wrap my head around layers, and layers is kind of like vector drawing on Google Drawing. And I'm trying to paint that picture on Procreate. I'm trying to do this on Procreate, and I'm using layers because I've done the backgrounds here, and one layer, and then I'm doing the second layer. I'm doing the houses, and that will be the third layer. I have an old iPad Air and can't use the pencil. Whatever I had to upgrade. Oh, okay. All righty. Yeah. Yeah, I have the. Here's I've got the iPencil. And I have a case for my iPad that has a place for the pencil. So the pencil sits on top and is always charging. So it's always ready. And I don't use it that much. And I should use it more than I use it because it's such a great program. And some of the artwork that comes, the stuff that people are creating on iPad is just phenomenal. I mean, on Procreate, just phenomenal. And I guess there's a lot of controversy over whether, the AI and such. Yeah. I really have no feelings one way or another. Maybe that'll change. Sometimes, the old saying, ignorance is bliss. Let's see. All righty. See, this was good. I could do this, and it's been great. I can read the chat. And David Hockney has wonderful stuff on iPad. Okay. See you later. Okay, Aunt Bex. Take care. Good to see you as always. Thank you. Oh, thank you for your card. It came yesterday. Thank you so much. Becky sent me a really neat. Oh, and Mike Deacons sent me an email. He sent me a message. Apparently, he is starting a Facebook group. And you can join. Where you can show because remember I did his July mission inspiration. Uh-huh. Okay, all right. AI has not been taught morals, right? Stealing is just gathering available information. Yeah. Well, it's another, again, it's a whole new world, and I don't know, for young people, and parents of young people. I mean, I guess with every generation, there's always challenges being a parent, but I look back and I think, raising my boys were relatively easy. And I look at all of but maybe it wasn't, maybe it's just, they're like 46. Oh, that's right. That you told me, you met him yesterday. He wants me to pass a private message to me. Okay. I'll look. Did I do something wrong? I think I'm afraid. I'll read it. Okay. Hi, Cal. I remember you telling me you had met him. I love his work. I don't know that he knows me. He's got thousands of followers. Occasionally I'll buy something, or donate and be one of his angels, but I've been following him for a long time. He and Ian, and they got another dog, so now they have 2. Okay, all righty. Thank you, Barbara. I will look as soon as we're done here. Thank you so much. think he's ever done a live. Didn't he? He did a live, I think, when at Indigo. Isn't he working for Indigo? Isn't he a designer for Indigo? Yeah, and their downloads, his I bought some digi downloads, and sometimes when you buy digi downloads, the quality of what's printed out is not that great. And then others, it must be the level of pixels or whatever they have it set at. Some print out beautifully, and others not so nice, not so beautifully. And but his are crisp and clear and really nice. The quality of them is really good. Okay, so that looks nice. Now I think that'll get glued in down here, and then I'll put something on here. And let's see what we got here. I really am reluctant. I don't really want to put anything, because there's another whole, I'm so off the mark here. I've made such a mess. See, she could go here. I love this. Can you imagine having that as wallpaper? Yeah, he designs for them. That's what I thought. Yeah. And there was another woman, Linda Simpson, who he's worked with. And I've seen them kind of craft together. Mr. Bentley is the dog's name. And then they got another dog of the same breed. And they are racing. Were they greyhounds or are they whippets? Whippet. I think there's a difference between greyhounds and whippets. I think whippets are smaller. And I think that after they retire from racing, hi Marty, you have to go through quite a screening process before they will allow you to adopt a retired Dad, it's getting late, Janet. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here on our side of the pond. On Janet's side of the pond, it'll be a little bit later. Sleep well. I could cut her out. Cut her out. That kind of goes nice with the brown here. Cut her out. Maybe I'll put her here. Put her on the cover of this. Yeah. And we don't want her hand. That would be weird to have her hand in that. All right, I'll cut it on the other side of her hand. All righty. These are so colorful, huh? There's just so much, it's crazy. It's so easy to search, right? There you go. I like that. Marty says, hi, every single body. I think that's to the point. Because Barbara, chicken pot pie, she got the best one. And she went, hi, everybody, Etel and others. I thought that was brilliant. Oh, I just thought that was so fun. She said that and others. Back from the old research paper, footnote abbreviations. I think I told everybody last week that my best friends who I go visit and spend the night in Cape Canaveral, they have to move. Yeah, I'm very sad about it. And their landlady has decided to sell the townhouse that they live in. And I feel bad because they're leaving for Ireland in 2 weeks and spending 6 weeks in Ireland because they're from Ireland. And their lease runs up August 15th. And technically, this woman could sell her place, and she's hired a landlord. I mean, not a landlord, a real estate agent that really has a lousy reputation as being kind of ruthless. So they have no idea. And she's the landlady has said, "Oh, go on your trip. You don't worry about it. Everything will be fine." And they're just terrified that when they get back from Ireland, they're not going to be able to get into the house. But I'm sure it'll be fine. But her one son has offered them a townhouse that he just bought in Bradenton, which is on the west coast of Florida. So I need to change my braid. So to go visit them, it's going to be not a half an hour, but it'll be a 3-hour trip one way. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, I was supposed to go up and spend the night there last night. And, do I want this? I like that, but I can cut that out and stick that somewhere else. So Mo called me this morning and said that they, basically the guest room is a mess because she's getting ready to pack for Ireland, and I said that's fine. So they offered they said they'd come down here, and they wanted to take me out to dinner, but we ended up getting takeout. We got Chinese takeout, which was good. But when they came in, I didn't expect it, and they brought their son, whom I haven't seen in ages. And it was so wonderful seeing him. And it's going to be hard for him because he lives in that same community, right? And he just bought his townhouse there. And just bought it. And when worst came to worst, I figured if they didn't have I said that they could stay here with me, until they could, move. They're moving into this townhouse over in Bradenton, and they have other friends that, I've offered them a place to stay. So, but unfortunately, the place that Eddie bought is a 1-bedroom. So they couldn't camp there. It's one of those things, right? Life goes on, changes. So I'm already figuring out my road trips, because my road trips will now involve me getting a cat sitter, and I'll listen to couple of episodes of Wait, Don't Tell Me, and books on tape, and nobody ever listens to Paula Poundstone. So those are all the things I can listen to. But I don't know how many of you are familiar with Florida. I don't see any Florida. Maybe, I don't know, the Beth is still in here. Traveling east-west across the Florida is horrible. There's very, very, very few roads that go east and west. And so for me to get over to the West Coast, I have to go north up to Orlando or cross on a road that's called I-4, which is just known for its horrible car accidents and bumper to bumper traffic. Um, so, and I-4 is like the worst. It's in the local news almost every night. If you watch Orlando news, it's yeah. Or you go south and go across on out what they call Alligator Alley, which would, and then I go south to go across and then go north, or go north and then go south. It's just not. Going north and south is easy. You get on 95, you can go anywhere, but not so much across the state. Anyway, so I told Eddie last night when he was leaving, I said, once a month, you come by here and we'll have dinner, because he has to go right by. He has to go right by where I live on his way home from work. So, whoops, oh, Janet, I almost put that upside down. You could come up to 82 and then across. Oh, okay. I'd have to. Now is 80? No, it's 7. No, does 82 go to the middle of the state? I'm not familiar with 82. I'll check it out. Ah ha ha! Very funny, Miriam. There you go. Scenic route. Yep. There you go. Take the. Well, there's always Alligator Alley where there's alligators. Yeah. You see alligators. I think I'll stick that here. Probably has nothing to do, but I like it. I like it. It's pretty, right? It's farther north. Oh, okay. Oh, that would be great. That would be great. I mean, there's been talk of forever. There's been talk of a high-speed rail line that would go from Tampa to Orlando. But, the funding for that, and, the corruption involved and the politics involved in building anything. We don't do rail travel very well in this country. Not the way that they do in Europe. The Europeans, when you get on their rail system, you get a Euro pass. Back in the day, you get I'm in Melbourne. Yep, Dana. Or as my students call it, Melboring. But really, North Melbourne. I'm literally 5 minutes from 95 and 50 minutes from the airport. So it's going to be its own town. Soon. It won't be Melbourne. It'll be Vieira soon. The land that Vieira was built on was owned by one ranch family, and I love the name. The name of the family and the ranch, they own 10,000 acres, and they pretty much own almost all of Brevard County. Are you ready for this? The Dudas. The Dudas owned all of this land. The Duda Ranch. And then further south, you have the Mormons, Deseret. They have a huge cattle ranch further south of here. Another huge thing. And he took me aback. Okay, that would be super. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And I'm sure the last time I was on Alligator Alley, it was a two-lane highway, one going one way and one going the other way. And if you got behind a truck hauling cider or oranges, you were screwed. What? Blues Blues? I know that place well. I know her. Yeah. I had a very, very good friend who would play his guitar when they have open mic night. Oh wow. That's in Ugali. Ugali. I know it well. Blues Blues. Been there many a time. Crazy. It's a small world. Yeah. And then across the street, kind of across the street, a little bit down across the street, a little bit further down on A1A was a good Mexican restaurant. Mi Amigos? I can't remember. Well, guys, we managed to kill 2 hours. Can you imagine? We just killed 2 hours and we talked, and it was so great seeing all of you and chatting. Yeah, we must meet. Have redone Highway 60. Yeah. That's crazy. Lose Blues. Yeah. Yeah. Open mic night. Yeah. I'm off to bed now. And can you? Yes, I will message you tomorrow. Okay, I will, Barbara. Well, I'm glad the time went by quickly. And next week, I will have all of this thing done, the substrate done. And we'll start maybe filling this in and with the pictures and start incorporating all this neat stuff that Rosemary included in this Kaboodle kit. And because this is really nice stuff too. It's like construction paper, and that'll be fun to play with. So I hope you all have a good week. And Janet's on tomorrow at 9 a.m. Dee Dee's on at 9 a.m. Barb owns on at 7 o'clock Monday evening, which I always forget about. It's not in my purview, so to speak, not in my brain yet. It takes a while before things stick. And then, of course, on Tuesday, K-Berg is back in the house, right? So I'm guessing you're going to be over on your channel Tuesday at 10 a.m. It's Marty. I am your future. Okay. So good night, everybody. And thank you again for being here. So appreciate you hanging out with me. And again, I'll see you about. And if you can't be good, be careful. Okay. Good night, everybody.